Yeah, 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 yeah. It is what it is. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the YouTube streets. La Negra, Tena Tuparo. La Negra, Tena Tumpao. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the YouTube streets. This is your homegirl. Uh, uh, Bubbles. 914 Westchester County, New York, coming to you with another live video. It's a little after 11:30 this evening. It's a little after 11:30 this evening, and you know, I got off of work hours ago. I came home, I got myself situated. I didn't really eat anything but a Oreo brownie. I didn't really drink anything but the mudslides. I had 3 mudslides, and now I'm drinking a Dr. Pepper, and I'm smoking a cigar. Shout out to the YouTube streets. Yeah. So everyone has gotten their weather reports. Everyone has gotten their weather reports. And it seems like there is a winter storm advisory alert that is going viral everywhere. Everyone is preparing for the snow that may be coming, the threat of snow. You know, with me being a native New Yorker, growing up where we faced the blizzards, where we faced the snow and the hailstorms and the nor'easters. Yo, shout out to the chat. And that is something wonderful to be a native New Yorker. You know how to survive in the snow, in the ice, degrees that are way below 5, sometimes below 0. Can you imagine? Shout out to the chat. And with me living in South Carolina now, I've been here since 2017. South Carolina only gets snow periodically, but when it snows down here, everything turns to ice. Everything stops. Shout out to the chat. And we got the nerve to celebrate the New Year's in January. In January, in most places in the country, everything goes to sleep. All vegetation goes to sleep. Trees stop bearing fruit. Trees lose their leaves. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the YouTube streets. The grass becomes brown instead of green. And I'm so surprised that a lot of people are talking about the weather. You're talking about the weather like you don't know what's coming. You do know what's coming. You do know how to prepare. You know what I mean? For those of us that can live on very little, we know how to prepare for bad weather. We know how to prepare for bad weather, but how many of you can prepare for bad weather in your life financially? And some of us grew up in humble experiences. We grew up with very little, especially if you're in the Black community. But not just the Black community, all communities. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the YouTube streets. Yeah. And we're facing a winter where there's a change in the dynamics of this country. There is a change of the dynamics of this country. We are at war with ourselves. We are fighting a civil war battle. And it's not necessarily the use of guns and weaponry and tanks and bombs. Attitudes. Your belief system on racial equality or not, or lack of. We saw it with the death of a few individuals by the police, by police brutality, something that hasn't been addressed in this country in a very, very long time. I wonder if everyone remembers Rodney King. I hope many of us that were living around that time will remember what happened during the Rodney King trial, where the police officers in question weren't found guilty. We have a president in the United States White House who wants to give police immunity. They have enough immunity. Shout out to the chat. But I think he was saying that because he's a racist. He's against Black people, brown people, red people, yellow people, the LGBTQ community. So there's a whole war going out that is happening in the United States. Principalities, old belief systems that refuse to die, that refuse to go anywhere. So there's a lot going on. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the YouTube streets. And the only thing I can say for my community is we got swag. We have swag. Ciela Cruz sung about it a few years ago before her passing, where she said, La negra tiene tu pao. La negra tiene tu pao. The girl got swag. The girl got ups and downs. You saw the video where the young woman was dancing in the streets and how the people were following her and how the people were dancing. Shout out to the chat. Our community has a lot of swag. We got our ups and downs. We've always been able to bounce back. We always was able to rise above the occasion. So we not only have to worry about the weather, we have to worry about certain changes that is happening in this country. Hello, Mrs. V. Thank you for coming in. I trust you had a wonderful day. I had a good day too, believe it or not. My day started. Now, I might be on the job from 7 to 3:30, but my day actually doesn't end until I enter back into the house, which is usually after 5:30 in the afternoon. I remember some afternoons not even getting back to the house until almost 7 o'clock, 7:30 at night. Shout out to the chat. Now that the sun goes down earlier, nighttime comes faster. You had a good day? Oh, that's good. You know what I mean? Where I wanted to work, and that's all they had me doing was vacuuming, cleaning out the vacuum cleaner, and going from floor to floor. I started on the 5th floor and I had to work my way down to the 2nd floor. And then I would repeat that all day long. So shout out to the chat. But while I was at the job, I was able to go onto the phone and communicate with someone that I have a lot of respect for on the YouTubes. Because I tell you guys, I only speak to 2 people behind the scenes. Out of all the people on the YouTubes, I only talk to 2 people behind the scenes. Shout out to the chat. And it's good to reach out to people. It's good to communicate. It's good to have conversations. It's real good. Sometimes it could be something good. Sometimes it could be something bad. So shout out to the chat. Love it. Light work. Yeah, I know. Yeah, in a long time, Mrs. V. This is the first time in a long time when ain't too much required of us. Now, they wanted some of us to work today, Saturday, of all days. And I said to myself, now, what kind of deal they going to cut us? You know what I mean? Word. And what they wanted us to do, to come in at 7 and leave at 3:30, and we would only, instead of getting 8 hours on the ticket, we would get 9 hours on the ticket. I'm like, to me, that's not a good deal. That's not a good deal at all. Because I remember my days where if I went to work at the recycling plant on a Saturday, we only worked from 7 in the morning to 12 in the afternoon, and we got paid for the whole day. That's right. But we got some people that want to take advantage of us. I don't care if it's light work. I don't care if it's taking out debris. There's some supervisors on these jobs that want to take advantage of people because people, for real, ain't too smart when it comes to finances. Shit. To me, that don't seem like no fucking deal. And we're getting paid less than what we would be if we was at the recycling center. So I said, hell no, I ain't working today. I'll come back Monday. I ain't stressing myself. Because that's a lot of traveling from here to there for what? $13 an hour? That ain't no money. That ain't no fucking money. Again, this is winter. Again, this is the bullshit. And those that they asked to work, of course, they're going to come in because they're going to get overtime. I'm not going to get overtime tomorrow. I'm just going to be regular pay, straight pay. So I ain't, nah, it's too much headaches. I'll be back Monday. And when the job is almost complete, the job is almost done, because if you can tell by the pictures I take of the building, all the sheetrock is put up, all the carpet is put down, all the paint is on the walls, all the lights are working. Only thing they're doing now is moving the furniture into the building. Shout out to the chat. That's all they're doing. Moving the furniture into the building. So today, right, I was working with one of my co-workers who had an episode with fentanyl not too long ago, where he almost didn't make it. So what he decided to do was to stop everything. He stopped smoking cigarettes. He stopped drinking beer. He stopped getting high. But here comes the winter time. Life started to get difficult for him again. It was never easy for him, but life started getting difficult. Nobody tells us how to live our lives if we decide to go into a program of sobriety. Nobody tells us, well, just because you put down the alcohol, or you put down drugs, or you put down whatever you're addicted to, that everything's gonna be all right. You ain't gonna have no more problems like this and like that. Everything was more difficult because we were in our active addiction. And you know what he said? He started back drinking. He said, Arabia, for real, I started back drinking again. And I said, yeah, I knew. I knew from his attitude he had picked back up. I knew from his attitude he had been relapsed. Already knew that. Same thing goes for me. Just because I'm not in full addiction mode doesn't mean I'm not gonna go through things in life just because I stopped. Hell no, nothing stops. And little by little, I'm taking a step back into my addiction. Active addiction. It's not heavy. It's not strong like the way it was. But I feel that if I do certain things, yeah, there's a possibility I'll fall back. But the only thing about that is, if you lived sober for a little bit, now when you pick up that drug again or that alcohol again, because alcohol is considered a drug, there's a possibility you might overstep. So here comes winter. Here comes winter. Shout out to the chat. And when he said what he said, you know what I told him? I said, I feel what you're saying. I totally understand what you're saying. I get what you're saying. I can dig it. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the YouTube streets. La Negra tiene tu pao. We got our swag and we got our ups and downs. Shout out to the chat. So this video is not going to be very long. Not at all. Because there's no need for it to be a long video. Where basically I'm just talking about my day. Basically, I'm just talking about winter and how I see winter as being. And why on earth do we in this country celebrate New Year's in the dead of winter? Think about that. We're celebrating New Year's in the dead of winter. Nothing grows. Nothing is reborn. Everything looks like it's dying, but it's actually sleep. Just like the human subconscious. You think certain things has died, but actually these things sleep. Addiction can sleep a long time with you being sober. It's there. It never goes anywhere. Just because you're not active doesn't mean it's not there. It doesn't mean that your addiction doesn't talk to you with your own voice. Your own voice. And any little thing can spark it. Any little thing. Anything. Not no big thing. Not no big to do. Any little thing. Any kind of surprises can what? Reignite the addiction. It can bring on winter, but your winter is now different. Shout out to the chat. And I don't make it a secret about what I do, because there's sometimes I'll have one. And that one is all I need to suffice. To do what I need to do. You know what I mean? But for me, for right now, only thing it does is puts me to sleep. That's all it does. It puts me to sleep. But what's going to happen when I don't go to sleep? Yeah. So it's winter time, for real, for real. And we fighting battles that we don't even know about. We don't even see. We're not even aware of. Just like he told me today. He said he went through what he went through because somebody had put fentanyl in his shit. He said after he had his episode, he stopped everything. But then life started life. And he didn't know how to cope, but go back to the old ways, the old behaviors. It felt like something familiar. It felt like an old friend. And that's the way it feels for me. When I pick up any alcohol drink, when I put that thing in my hand, when I pour it in a cup, when I put the straw in the cup, when I consume. Right now, it just puts me to sleep. I get sleepy. What do? I go to sleep. I don't have to get back up and go back outside and go across the street and buy more. There's no need for me to buy more. Not right now. but my winter is coming. Because I didn't prepare. People talking about preparing for the snow that's coming, preparing for the hail, preparing for the ice that's going to be on the roads. But what about the winter that's going on in your life? What about the winter that's going on in these YouTube streets? Are you prepared? Because there was a situation that happened on the YouTube streets that totally took me by surprise. And the only thing I could hear was my own addiction telling me, you see, you do right by people and right don't follow. You do what people ask you to do, and now they reneging. Now they got a problem with you. You know what I mean? And it may not be something personal, but you're taking it personal. You know what I mean? And to have hurt feelings, have your feelings be hurt for any reason, can get the addiction talking again. Life keeps lifing. That's what he said. And when he said the words, I immediately felt the words. And I said, you know what? He right. Because I don't have to come out and say, oh yeah, you know, I had me a fireball a couple of weeks ago, or I bought me some mudslides. Mudslides ain't shit and ain't got a whole lot of alcohol. That's not the point. It does have alcohol in it. You do feel a little of a buzz, but it's not what you're used to. So you feel that you have to go out and purchase more so you can consume more. But right now, I'm not on that program. I just get sleepy. I falls asleep. Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the YouTube streets. Yeah. So it is what it is. If I feel that, but I cannot be discouraged. You are not where you were when you were. And that's a blessing. Yeah. Shout out to you, Ms. V. So, yeah, I'm just going to watch, a little more news, what's going on with this weather, because it seems like everybody's getting nervous. They're getting very nervous. And they have a right to feel nervous because it's been a lot of stuff that has happened in the last couple of months. 42 million people were told to kick rocks. 42 million people. I don't know how many people with a substance abuse problem is in that 42 million, but I bet you went back to active addiction. I bet you they did. Anything that threatens your sobriety, it can't really threaten the sobriety unless it threatens your mental. It threatens your mental. It threatens your feelings of safety, your feeling of being protected, your feelings of being covered by something. But when that is removed, now what do? Like Amy Winehouse said, you went back to her and I went back to black. We never said goodbye with words. I never told my addiction goodbye with words. I did it with action. There's certain things in my past I've never said goodbye to it with words. But words are very powerful. Words are very powerful because there are key words that are like spells. It could trigger something. It could wake something up in your subconscious. Remember, there's different parts of you that are actually dormant until something wakes it up. It's sleeping, it's winter. But did you prepare for the winter? Did you get the heavy coat? Did you get the boots? Did you get your shovel so you could shovel out your sidewalk or your steps? Did you? Did you prepare? Do you have food in your house where if you're stuck in the house for maybe a day or two, do you have enough food to last until you're able to go back to the store? Shout out to the chat. Yeah. So in a few hours, I'll be getting up once again to participate in my life. I gotta go to the laundromat. I gotta go back to the store. And then I gotta come back in the house and prepare for next week. You know what I mean? Shout out to the chat. You have a support team right here. I'm proud of you. And before you even think about picking something up, go live. Okay? Shout out to you, Mrs. V. Yeah. That's good to know that. And you know what, Miss V? I don't mean no harm. I don't mean no harm. But it seemed like I'm close to people on this platform than in real life. I thought about that the other day, and I thought about that this morning when I was on the phone talking. And then after that phone conversation ended, I received some text messages to the phone. And I said, oh my goodness, it's winter all over again. You know, it's some things you just not prepared for. You know what I mean? Word. Shout out to the chat because, you know, I packed my lunch. I'm going to give you a perfect example. I packed my lunch yesterday, right? So, you know how you like leave things, you know, in the room or whatever. It wasn't nothing like it would go bad or nothing like that. But it was just like a little something. Like when lunchtime come, okay, now I got something, you know, to eat. The door was closed where everything was at and it was locked. So I walked with another coworker of mine to the Harris Teeter. So we walked to the Harris Teeter and I go to the bathroom, right? After I wash my hands and come out, I go straight to the deli section where they sell the hot chickens. It's chicken in the bucket. Then you got your rotisserie chickens, the bigger packages, and then you got the smaller packages. I bought the two-piece. I bought the two-piece chicken, which is really a quarter leg. You know what I mean? Word. And I ate that for lunch. The whole thing cost me $5.45. Where if I would have been able to get to my bag, I wouldn't have had to pay $5.45. But I'm going to tell you something. I was hungry as hell. That's how I knew. And I was very aggravated with that. I was irritated. I was pissed. I said, God damn, you unlocked the damn door. Now I got to go spend money I don't fucking have. Because I hadn't planned on spending $5.45. You know what I mean? I planned everything else, but see, that was an unforeseeable thing. It's a little thing, but it's something that aggravated me. Yeah. Shout out to the chat. All right, you guys. I don't know what's going on these YouTube streets, but I'm closing out this video. I want to thank Mrs. V for coming in and moderating for me. Shout out to her. Those that are not here, I hope they will catch the replay. And, we'll go on from there. So shout out to the chat. I hope everyone has an awesome evening. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Be safe out there. We know that there's a snowstorm coming to certain spots in the country. This thing is coming. It's coming quickly, and it's even threatening to come here to South Carolina. But I had to check the report, and the only thing I can see what's getting ready to happen is getting ready to be a cold to come through here. You know what I mean? And I don't know if it's going to be snow or freezing rain or anything like that. Shout out to the chat. We've been having pretty warm weather here for the last couple of weeks, which is kind of unusual. And it's always we're in winter. We're in winter. We know to expect to see snow and ice and all this. You know what I mean? And me being a New Yorker, hey, we survived through it. But South Carolina is very different from New York. South Carolina don't have the sand trucks. South Carolina don't have the ice trucks. The sand trucks or the salt trucks. They don't know how to, go on the roads and put that stuff down. They don't know about other things, that might be a help to people. In South Carolina, like I said, they don't get a whole lot of snow and ice, but when they do, everything is shut down in certain places for maybe 2-3 days. This is not like a hurricane. A hurricane situation, it comes in, it lasts for a couple of hours, but like dealing with snow and ice on the roads, and especially if you live in the South and they don't prepare for nothing like that down here. So you're at a loss. Shout out to the chat. That's the only thing that aggravates me about South Carolina. And there's a few other things, but that's one of my pet peeves. They don't know how to prepare for winter. they don't know how to prepare for anything. Not really. Shout out to the chat. I'm out of here, you guys. I want to thank everyone for coming in. And shout out to y'all. Shout out to the YouTube streets. I love you and I appreciate you. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart for coming in to visit with me late this evening, which is now morning time. Shout out to y'all. La Negra tiene tu bao. La Negra tiene tu bao. The girl got her ups and downs, or slash, the girl got swag. And that's what we got. Shout out to the YouTube streets. Shout out to the chat. I'm out. Peace, y'all. One. Thanks for coming in.